Hey everyone, it's Kylie, and today I have a little quick video on my favorite pens of all time, which are the Tombow Fude pens. There is a hard nib and a soft nib, and they come in a pack of 2. This is the hard nib that I'm holding up right now. It comes in sort of like a navy blue barrel, and as I apply maximum pressure on the downstroke, you can see this is the line thickness we get. Now with the soft nib, which is my actual all-time favorite, the main difference between them is that the nib is just a little softer, and you can see the difference in the downstroke that I get. So I'm going to letter a quote, mainly using the soft nib today. I have more details on the hard nib in the blog post that goes with the video, so please check that out by checking the description box and clicking on the link that takes you there. I'm also going to show you a couple of tricks that I use when I'm lettering just to make sure I get a pretty good product on the first try, because I hate wasting paper, I hate wasting ink, and I hate wasting my time by starting over. So I'm just quickly sketching out a quote here in pencil, and I'm using a super smooth cardstock. Even though the Fude pens don't require a really smooth paper, I still like to use a smooth cardstock for the best results. Trick number 1 is what I'm showing you right now. So you just saw me lay down an initial sketch in pencil. I'm going to go back over it with pencil again, right on top of it, and I'm going to use this sketch to stretch out my letters to make them taller or to make them thicker, or to do whatever I need to do to utilize all of that free space, cover it up, to make things really fit together like puzzle pieces. And this does take a little bit of practice to do. The initial layout itself takes practice. I mean, I've been doing this for 2 years now, so I definitely can get things right most of the time on the first and second try. So don't get discouraged if you don't have as easy of a time with this. The second little trick that I have is that sometimes if you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling confident, if you're feeling a little bit shaky, to only do your downstrokes, which in my opinion are the easiest strokes, first, and then save the more elaborate strokes, whether that's a really fancy crossbar on your T, just like you saw me leave out, or whether you're not feeling too good about your upstroke abilities. I think those are difficult. A lot of times mine come out shaky. So sometimes I'll save all of that stuff for the very end. In the meantime though, I wanted to tell you a little bit about why I prefer the soft nib over literally any pen out there. So I'll use the example of at lettering workshops, I usually hand out a dual brush pen and then the hard nib and the soft nib Fude. And people will start out using the dual brush pen because that's how the class is structured. And then when it's time to get out the other pens, I can't really ever predict which of the Fude are going to be the favorite. It's really funny to watch because it's like as soon as someone picks up one of those pens, all of a sudden they feel really confident. They have control, they feel like they could letter, everything looks really good. So that's exactly how I feel when I picked up the soft nib for the first time. It was like, oh my gosh, I actually have a style. This looks really good. It looks like something that I would be proud to show somebody, and that's just something that I hadn't really experienced with any other pen. Even though I love dual brush pens, they just serve a totally different purpose for me, which is funny because I just lettered purpose. Now it's time to cross those T's, so I'm turning my paper, I'm pulling in a downward motion, not applying pressure, so that it looks totally normal, and this is a lifesaver for me. Moving on to the third tip I have is just to use a Fineliner pen to go back and to smooth out any line. So I'm talking a lot about shakiness because it's a true problem for me, and it's probably due to that coffee that I have off to the side, but I'm not going to give it up for lettering, so there you go. You could use a micron like I'm using. Tombow also sells a really great Fineliner pen, and I love it. I just couldn't locate any of them at the time of this video, so just use a really fine tipped pen to go back in and to smooth out some of those edges. So as you can see, I'm just barely tracing over, and it takes a couple of strokes to get everything looking smooth, but it really overall improves the quality of the piece, and no one will ever know you did it but you. My last and final trick is not really a trick, it's a tip. And it's that I really encourage everyone to have an artist grade eraser, because an eraser will change your life if it's good enough to get those pencil marks off the paper really cleanly, leaving no trace. This is the Tombow Dust Catch Eraser, and I love it. It reduces the amount of eraser dust I have left at the end, and it works like a charm. That's it for today. That's this quick little video on tips and tricks that I have for not having to start over. So I guess you could call this tips and tricks for a lazy person like me. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. There is a blog post that goes with it that will have lots more information about where you can buy the pens, the paper, the eraser, every single thing that I've used in this video, and have a little bit more detail about using those tips effectively. So I hope to see you there. It's linked in the description box. Talk to you later.